Hello, greetings from Plainsboro, New Jersey. Look at this nice water feature. It is a rainy day, so today is a day with a built-in water feature. I'm here in this town. I lived in this town for I think about 5 years. I really like this town. We're about halfway between New York City, so if we wanted to go to New York City, we'd go that way. And if we wanted to go to Philadelphia, we'd go that way. And we're right about at the halfway point. And I have two things in this town that I want you to see. Hopefully the pouring rain will stay away for a little bit. It's been pouring throughout the day. And hopefully we're in a lull now, but I feel like more is coming. The reason I wanted to show you this building is this is the Princeton Medical Center at Penn Medicine, at Princeton Medical Center. I'm not sure exactly what they call it, but this is the new Princeton Medical Center. It's been here for, I don't know, about a decade, I guess, at this point. Originally, the Princeton Medical Center was in Princeton, which is one town over. Borders this one, you can get there in just a few minutes. And when they closed that building, they opened this one, and Princeton is really, really expensive. Land is super expensive, and this hospital is way bigger than the old hospital. So they moved it from Princeton to here. Now this means a couple things. First of all, Princeton is the birthplace of a lot of famous people. Mary Chapin Carpenter, I always remember, is from Princeton. Joyce Carol Oates, Guy Anthony Hutchinson, all people with three names. A lot of people were born there, and now nobody's born there. I mean, the only way you're born there now is if somebody goes into labor while they're, visiting one of the restaurants on Nassau Street. So the only place you're going to be born if you're born in this area is here. It's here at this medical center. Now, when they opened this medical center, it was very interesting. On the TV show House, which I've never seen, by the way, so if I get anything wrong about it, I apologize. I hear it's a wonderful show, but it's not the kind of show I'm interested in. But on the show House MD, Dr. House worked at the Princeton Plainsboro Medical Center, and people would always say to me, "Oh, you live in Plainsboro? Do you live near the Princeton Plainsboro Medical Center?" And I'd say, "There's no such thing. There's the Princeton Medical Center." But he worked in a made-up hospital. It was called the Princeton Medical Center. Ooh, there's some rumbling. He worked in a made-up hospital called the Princeton Plainsboro Medical Center. Here's the Princeton Medical Center, and it's in Plainsboro. So they actually built the TV set. So I found that weird. I always wondered if maybe it was one of those things where they looked at a map and, wanted a fictional name. So they were like, what's a town that borders Princeton? And they liked the alliteration of the extra P. Or if maybe, there was some stuff online, that, hey, they're planning to move there, they're hoping to move there. Maybe there was scuttlebutt about it for years in the medical industry. I don't know, but I always thought that was kind of neat. We are going over to the grave of Elsie the Cow. I'm going to tell you all about Elsie. Elsie's a crazy story, but she was born right here in Plainsboro, New Jersey. So we're going to cross over that way, go to where she was born. Hopefully the rain stays away, and I'll show you what I notice. I do this now when I watch my videos. I'm constantly doing this. I don't know why I do this. I don't even know that I do this. Maybe I only do this on videos. Not sure. Anyway, I'll see you over there. I'm approaching the grave of Elsie the Cow, and there's some baby deer right behind it. So try not to make a sound. We'll see how close we can get before they take off. They will take off. They're staring right at me. I feel like I'm the crocodile hunter all of a sudden. Crikey. Look at these deers. There they go. I knew they'd go. Little Bambies. All right, and here is the grave of Elsie the Cow. Now it says Elsie's real name, because Elsie was her stage name. You'll do Lobelia, purebred Jersey cow, one of the great Elsies of our time. And they have her birth date 1932, death date 1941. Now I'm going to tell you about when she was born, when she died, and the fact that she's not buried here. She's buried somewhere that way. We'll go through all that. But here's her gravestone. It's a nice looking gravestone. This used to be Walker Gordon Farms. We're actually in a development now that is called Walker Gordon Farms, but I'm going to tell you about the real Walker Gordon Farms. And this stone dates back to the 1940s. This was a stone that was put up in memory of Elsie when she died. And it's a real standard gravestone right here by this nice gazebo that the deer were enjoying. I looked up Plainsboro on my phone. I found a couple details I wanted to read to you so I don't get them wrong. But from 1986 to 1989, Plainsboro was home to the John von Neumann Center, which hosted a liquid nitrogen-cooled ETA-10 supercomputer, the world's fastest computer, and was a major hub of the early internet. The other thing it says on here is in 1930, the rotolactor was invented by Walker Gordon Farms in Plainsboro. The rotolactor was the first rotary milking parlor and a popular tourist attraction. It remained in use until the 1960s. Here is a picture of that rotolactor. So if you look there, you can see all the cows. I think it's all their rear ends as they're all lined up there in this milking contraption. And then above it was a level where people could go to watch the cows be milked. This was a big deal. So Walker Gordon Farms had all of the milk that would be shipped all around the area and all around the country, really. I think the only limit was how fresh they could keep it, but they made a lot of milk out here. And so when this was Walker Gordon Farms, they had their offices and their everything was out that way. It was a big plant. And then when the cows would pass away, they would, bury them. But they'd bury them all together. And so there wasn't really a graveyard. You wouldn't line them up and say, oh, here's where Bessie is and here's where Euldulabilia is. But this marker was put up because they were so fond of the cow that was the first Elsie. So here's the story. Elsie was a mascot, a character that they put on their advertising, on their product. I'll put a picture right here so you can see it. And when people would come to see the rotolactor with school trips from all over the area, everybody I talked to that was a child in the 40s, 50s, and 60s would tell me, oh yes, I went there. We went there on a school trip. It was really cool. They'd go there and they'd see all the cows, and somebody would always say, which one of these cows is Elsie? So what they would do is they'd just point out one of them. They'd be like, that one right there, that's Elsie. And people would go, oh, there's Elsie. Okay, kids would get all excited because Elsie was on their TV. One day, a guy in charge there said, hey, why don't we pick one cow and make this Elsie? So he looked. And he looked at all of the cows, found the most beautiful one, which was this one. And so this cow became the Elsie. So they took Elsie on tour. She went to the World's Fair. She went all around the country and visited all different people. She was a tourist attraction. She was a touring attraction. And one day Elsie was traveling in, I guess like a big truck, like a flatbed truck, some kind of animal moving truck. She was traveling there with all her stuff. She had, a purse. She had shoes that she would wear so she didn't scratch up the floor when she went into a fancy hotel. All of the stuff Elsie had was in this truck with Elsie, and they got in a crash. And Elsie broke her back and had to be euthanized. So after that, they quietly picked a new Elsie, but the people at Walker Gordon Farms were so fond of her that they said, let's put a stone up for her. So she was not buried right where the stone was, but the stone was put right up by the front door so everybody would see it and think of Elsie on their way in. And when they closed it, they moved it over here. Here's another plaque here. It says burial site of Elsie the Bordens Cow. But she technically is not buried right here. Theoretically, she's buried out that way. But again, when they dug up for the foundations of all these houses, I don't know. It says Elsie, a purebred Jersey cow with, what does it say, enormous maybe? enormous brown eyes, was chosen to be the advertising symbol for the Borden Company. So she's one of the most popular advertising icons in the world. She was featured at the World's Fair 1939 to 1940 at the Dairy World of Tomorrow. And she's remembered by the residents of Walker Gordon Farms right here. Here's one of the cross streets in the neighborhood, Elsie Drive and Larkspur. So Elsie's got a street named after her right here in Plainsboro. So here is the entrance for the Walker Gordon Farm community. So this is a bunch of beautiful, very nice, very big, expensive homes. And they're right here, Walker Gordon Farms. And so it was back here where Elsie the Cow was born and grew up. Right here. And you can see right over here the logo for the housing development. It's pretty neat. And back here they've got a piece of equipment. So I want to show you this because I think this is pretty cool. Here it is. Looks like a thing that would go behind some kind of a plow and dig up the earth. Certainly looks vintage. Look at that. So this would be where I guess the guy would sit, and then either a tractor or a horse would be in front pulling this along. And these spikes would dig right into the earth here. It's pretty neat. So ties in the theme. Not sure if that's it. Yeah, it's chicken bone. I'm not sure why there's chicken bone here, but things happen. But yeah, this would be where it would hook up, I think. And there it is. So yeah, Elsie the Cow, buried right here in Plainsboro, New Jersey. The thunder is telling me I got to get back to my car. Well, that'll bring this one to a close. Hope you enjoyed hearing about Walker Gordon Farms. Used to be right here. All the milk, all the cheese, everything coming right from this farm. And the birthplace of Elsie the Cow. By the way, Elsie went on to get married to Elmer of Elmer's Glue and have some kids. So rest in peace, Elsie. Glad we still have you on all the packages. Right now a box is going to pop up here and a box over here, and you can choose either one because I'm in both of them. And I'll see you next time. Just go ahead and choose a box. Either one. Lots of cow content.